Hi, this is Frances from Taunt Marie's Cooking School, and I'm here today to show you how to cut up a chicken. It's not that hard. With a little practice you can get very quick at it, and it can save you a lot of money. So the first stage in cutting up a chicken is to turn it onto its breast so that the tail of the chicken is towards you. And there are many different ways of cutting up chickens, but this is the way that I find the easiest. And at the school, it's the method that we start out teaching the students. So you need a pair of poultry shears, and you're going to start cutting up the side of the chicken. There's the neck at this end, and so I kind of draw a line from the tail up towards the neck, and then same thing on the other side. So I'm going to take my scissors and cut. And it should be fairly easy. There's only one point where you're just at the top of the leg that it's a little hard, and then you just keep cutting. Do one side and then the same thing on the other side. So just cut, and don't cut too close to this bone. You want to kind of just in line with the chicken neck. So just keep cutting, and you can see that that's not that hard. So if you're having difficulty and you're having to really push, that means you're probably cutting in the wrong place. Okay, so now we have removed the back of the chicken, and this too I'm going to save for stock, so I'll put that to one side. Okay, and this is actually a handy way if you want to roast a chicken really fast when you come home from work in the evening. You can just do this part that I've done, cut out the back, turn the chicken over and flatten it like that, and you now have a chicken that will cook a lot faster. It's also great for cooking, a great way for cooking chickens on the grill, because it's now nice and flat and even. So if you're going to do it on, your grill outside, that's the way to get it cut, so it's nice and easy. Okay, so after we have cut out the backbone, we open it out, and if you look closely at the top, I usually just kind of clean it off a little bit. There's a little white triangle, and I'm going to pull that closer to you so you can see. You can see it right here. And I'm going to make two incisions, one on either side, to free up this point. And we're going to actually remove the breastbone altogether. So I lay it down flat. You need a sharp chef's knife for this. So you take it and cut it on one side, and then cut it on the other side. And what you're cutting through there is the wishbone. And now you can see that I have a nice V up top. Can you see that? Here, here, and here. And there's two little black spots here and here. So I'm going to take the chicken, put my fingers on those two spots, and I've got my fingers joined together kind of across the breast underneath the wings with my thumbs there, and I'm just going to press on either side, and you can see that it's popped right out for me. Okay, then I take my knife and very gently score down the top of the breastbone. So let me show you that too. So I've come and I've scored all the way down the center of the breastbone. Don't know whether you can see so that's between the two legs on either side. Okay, then I put it down and I again press on it with my fingers, and I'll just, right there, it should break, and if it doesn't, just get your knife in and cut that a little bit. Push on it, there we go, and then run your finger down one side of the breastbone, and the same thing on the other side. So just pull on that and run your finger down the breastbone. Then I take my hand and I lay it kind of flat. My left hand is flat on the chicken. I grab hold of the breastbone and it just pulls right out. And so now I have a nice neat breastbone. So that's out of the way. That can go into my stock pot too. And you can now see that I have a chicken that again would be really quick to roast, and it's easy to cut. So I can take it and cut it in half down the center. So now I have two halves of a chicken. Oops, there we go. Two halves of the chicken. And then to cut the legs off, it's really easy. There's no resistance at all. You just find the edge let's see if we can show you that. The breast is here, and then the legs run around here, and you just take your knife, place it in there, and just slice right through, and it should cut through very easily. So I now have 2 legs, or not yet, but I have a leg and a breast. And the second half, like same thing, find the point where the kind of just round, I always think it's the knee of the chicken right here, and you can take your knife and it should just slide right through. Make sure that you leave some skin on the chicken breast, and then just slide right over, and that way you've got two legs and 2 breast pieces. And you could leave it like that depending on what you're going to do with it. And a lot of times I cook the legs one way and cook the chicken breasts another way. Maybe pop these in the freezer, and when I'm making a chicken curry I can use the legs, and the breasts then are much better for roasting or sauteing or pan frying. So we have 2 chicken breasts and 2 legs. If you want to cut the legs in half, the chicken breasts over there, so cutting the legs in half, can be a little bit tricky. So you have to look at the chicken, and I always kind of work the leg so that I can see, put my finger on the top here and work the leg so I can feel where I think the joint is. And then I set it down on the counter and I cut straight through. And if I hit bone, it means I'm not in the right place. So, and I cut straight through. It should be fairly easy. You are cutting through a little bit of the cartilage, but it should be fairly easy. So now I have 2 pieces, and the same thing with this one here. Find where you think the joint is. You'll see there's a kind of a line where the flesh is a little whiter here and redder here. It's just kind of above that, and you just slice right through. I've cut up a lot of chickens. I've got to the point where I kind of can sense where that is. It just takes a little bit of practice. With the chicken wings, let's put these off to one side so they're out of the way. Chicken, and we'll take a look at the chicken here, the chicken breast. So I'm going to cut through the wing and remove the wingtip, and again that goes into my box for stock. And I can cut this chicken then into 2 pieces. I could leave it whole. Cooking things on the bone gives you much more flavor. So if you have the opportunity to cook it on the bone, I would. But otherwise, you can remove the bones easily. But we're just going to cut this in half because we're going to make a chicken sauté with this eventually. So again, this time I'm just cutting through some bones and cut it in half. So I have 2 pieces of chicken breast. I'll take the other piece of chicken breast. I hold the wing up so that you can see where the joint is, and you cut straight through. And again, if it's a little hard, just move your bone. And so we have the chicken wings can go into the stock pot. And now we have a whole chicken breast. And I'm going to cut it in half again. Again, lean on your knife and cut downwards. And you now have 2 halves for chicken. So we have ended up with 8 pieces of chicken. We have 2 drumsticks, 2 thighs, and 4 breast pieces. And so that's how to cut up a chicken into 8 pieces.